In the land of Nigeria, in the bustling city of Lagos, where the yellow Danfo buses honk endlessly and hawkers chase after cars with bottles of water and gala, lived a wealthy man called Chief Oladimeji. His name carried weight. His business empire stretched from Ikoyi to Victoria Island, and he was known by politicians, kings, and even foreign investors. But beneath his glittering success, Chief Oladimeji was a man who trusted wealth more than people. He believed that money was the shield that kept him safe. Yet fate, as it always does in African tales, would prove him wrong. Among his many workers was a simple maid named Amara. She had come from Inuga, her small hands used to farming, her heart full of the proverbs her grandmother had poured into her ears. Her grandmother used to say, "Child, even in the city where glass towers shine, evil still hides in shadows. Open your eyes and listen with your heart." Amara polished the floors of the mansion in Lekki, cooked food in the smoky kitchen, and fetched market goods from Balogun. Yet, no one truly noticed her. She was like the quiet breeze on Echo Bridge Present, but ignored. One year, Chief Oladimeji planned a grand party. Important guests were coming, senators, commissioners, businessmen from abroad. The mansion glittered with lights, the sound of live talking drums filled the air, and the smell of jollof rice, pepper soup, and roasted chicken rose from the kitchen. The chief gave strict instructions: tonight must be perfect. Lagos must see that Oladimeji is not just a man of wealth but of power. But while the chief thought of celebration, his own driver, Tunnel, thought of betrayal. Tunnel had served the chief for years. He drove the black SUVs through the streets of Lagos, carried him to meetings on the island, and bowed whenever spoken to. But in his heart, envy had grown like a stubborn weed. One day, rivals of the chief approached Tunnel in a beer parlor. "Why remain a driver when you can become rich?" they whispered. "Help us remove your boss, and we will give you enough money to buy your own house in Lekki Phase 1. Tunnel's greed swallowed his loyalty. He agreed. His plan was simple. During the party, he would slip pose into the chief's drink. The party night came. The chief wore his flowing agbada embroidered with gold, his coral beads dangling on his wrist. Guests danced, laughed, and praised him. Tunnel, hiding his nervousness, poured something into a glass of wine meant for the chief. Amara, moving quietly with a tray of small chops, saw it with her own eyes. Her heart beat like a talking drum. "What should I do? If I speak, no one will believe me. If I keep silent, my master will die." She remembered her grandmother's proverb: wisdom is not in speaking loudly, but in acting wisely. When the glass was placed before the chief, Amara rushed forward, pretending to stumble. She spilled food on the chief's agbada, shocking the guests. "Stupid girl," the chief roared. "Do you know what this cloth costs?" Amara knelt, trembling. "Forgive me, sir. Let me get you another drink." Before anyone could stop her, she carried away the wine, poured it out in the kitchen, and replaced it with a clean one. The chief drank safely, never knowing how death had sat before him. But Tunnel's anger burned. His plan had failed. That night, when the last car horn faded and the mansion grew silent, Tunnel returned with two masked men. They carried ropes and knives. "This time, we finish him," Tunnel whispered. Amara, who had been sweeping the corridor, saw their shadows moving towards the chief's room. She pressed herself against the wall, her breath shaking. Then, with courage greater than fear, she screamed, "Thief! Thief! Help!" Birds, her cry rang through the mansion like a bell in Balogun Market. Security guards rushed in. A fight broke out, fists flew, chairs shattered, and the night became chaos. But by dawn, Tunnel and the men were captured. The next morning, Chief Oladimeji gathered everyone in the courtyard. His face was pale from shock. For the first time, he looked at Amara not as a maid, but as the savior she was. "Twice in one night, you saved my life," he said, his voice breaking. "You, whom I never noticed. Forgive me, my daughter, for being blind." He turned to Tunnel, who knelt in shame, his betrayal exposed. Riches cannot buy loyalty, but loyalty can save riches. From that day, Amara was no longer treated as a maid. Chief Oladimeji sponsored her education. Years later, she became a woman of honor, running charities across Lagos, helping the poor and forgotten just as she once had been. The elders say, "Do not despise the lowly, for the one you overlook today may save your life tomorrow." Wealth may build a house, but loyalty is the foundation that keeps it standing. And so, in the busy streets of Lagos, where life rushes like the waves of Bar Beach, the story of Amara, the maid who saved her master,